Welcome to the Visualize Meditations podcast, hosted by your gal pal, Sasha, a Chopra certified meditation teacher, athlete, and adventurer. This is a place where high performance and health meets fulfillment and fun. Each week, I'm bringing you guided visualization meditations and honest solo sessions where I share personal development, my most unhinged stories, and intimate interviews. Whether we're chatting wellness, achievement, or building an aligned community, we're here to create the life of your dreams and have an absolute blast doing it. Hello. Welcome back to another episode of your favorite, the Visualize Meditations podcast. It's your gal pal Sasha, and to paint the scene for you right now, I am currently in LA and I'm actually leaving today. I really wouldn't say hip hip hooray, but only move forward, that's the motherfucking way. And I wish I was here to stay, but I'm coming back to play again another day. So long story short, I'm leaving LA today, and I feel like I'm kind of used to at this point now recording these solo episodes where I'm about to leave to go somewhere and moving on or moving forward. And this is a new one because I know I'm coming back. I have officially decided to move to LA. I'll be bopping around for the summer and then I'll be coming back on a more permanent basis. I was on the phone with a friend earlier and they were like, well, how are you feeling about leaving? And I was like, well, it feels really bittersweet. It feels kind of like the end of the school year where, you're going to go away for the summer, you're going to see your friends, you're going to do your thing. And then you're going to come back and you know that it's going to be work mode, hustle mode. And you're going to come back to the school year like refreshed and invigorated. But it's kind of like not even just school. I want to say it's like leaving Hogwarts because I feel like I'm here, I'm at Hogwarts, I'm like wizarding, I'm doing my like wizardry, conjuring some magic. No, seriously, it is actually like leaving Hogwarts where like I'm here and I'm conjuring magic and I'm leaving for the summer. And I'm not saying I'm going to the Dudleys, like I'm not saying that, but I am saying that I'm going to be spending time with a lot of my inner circle loved ones. And naturally that comes with a lot of old patterns and family entanglements and friend entanglements and having to maintain boundaries and protecting my peace and my energy. And it's kind of like that. So that's kind of what it feels like. It's like feels like, oh, I'm leaving Hogwarts for the summer and I'm gonna be back and I'm really excited about it. But I just in general here in LA feel like my life is kind of here. As far as like if I think about the wheel of life, and if you haven't listened to the Mastermind Moments podcast with my best friend Josh Glanville, we talk about this all the time. And I've definitely done episodes around the wheel of life, but I've been scoring myself on a scale from 1 to 10 for each of the 12 areas each week of this year so far. And the last 2 months, most categories are like an 8 or 9 out of 10. Like my physical health feels great. My physical environment feels great. My friends feel great. My family relationships feel great. My romance has been amazing. My career feels really exciting. My hobbies and my fun feels really great. I've never felt more connected to my spirituality. All of these things feel so aligned and so right. And I've gotten so many magic signs from the universe that this is the place for me. So I'm coming back. So I'm going to be gone for the summer and, talking about close relationships and close friendships. And about, going to the Dudleys for the summer, which I'm definitely not. Like I love my friends and love my family and I love my inner circle loved ones. So don't get it twisted. 2 to 5 of my friends have brought something up with me where multiple friends have said to me like, Sasha, like I take a look at the people around me or I take a look at my peer group or I take a look at the people I'm spending time with and I don't really know if they're feeling aligned anymore. And it's something I was sitting on and something I was thinking about myself because it's something I've been feeling in my own life where I take a look at the people in my orbit and the people around me and I'm like, I don't know if they completely align with who I am anymore. And part of growth is outgrowing things, outgrowing people, outgrowing environments, outgrowing situations that you're in. Part of growth is outgrowing things, point blank period. And that comes in a lot of forms. That can be a physical environment, that can be people in your life, relationships, that can be situations, that can be past versions of yourself. As you're evolving, you shed layers, and sometimes shedding layers means people too. Maybe it means distancing yourself from some relationships and going towards other relationships. And what I mean by this is if you haven't listened to the Making Aligned Friends episode, I suggest go back and listen to it. But I have this idea that friendships and relationships are like concentric circles around you, where you are the center dot pebble that's thrown into like a pond, and each ripple around you is a circle of your loved ones, right? And they move all the time. So like someone who's in your inner circle now might not be later down the line, or someone who was a distant friend or a weak tie is now like a close friend. And people can move and shift tiers all the time. And I was thinking about how do you know when it's time to shift someone in a layer that they're in, as far as like how close they are to you? How do you know when it's time to bring someone closer into your orbit, or how to add a little bit more distance to someone in your orbit, right? And when I was thinking about this, I was thinking about it in the mostly in the negative ways up until I was on the phone with a friend earlier. And they said, relationships can ebb and flow. Something we've said on here is people are in your life for a reason, season, or lifetime, and you have no way of controlling it and no way of knowing until after the fact. So you may ebb and flow through seasons of life. Like I have friends that I've been friends with for 10 to 15 years, and we'll go through waves where we talk every single day, all the time. And then we have waves where we don't talk for years at a time, and maybe we'll have a catch up on the phone once a year about like, hey, how are you? What's happening in your life? And I was on the phone with my friend earlier today, and we have a similar relationship where we met maybe 15 years ago and we became very close. And 10 years ago was probably the peak of our relationship where we were talking every day. He came to visit me, I went to go visit him. We were very, very close, and we didn't fall out over anything. It's just we both got busy and lives happen. We have a long distance friendship. And recently, we went through the same exact major life event 1 year apart from one another. So I reached out to him when I was going through it. And then a year later, he reaches out to me and he's like, hey, I'm going through exactly what you went through. And we've become really, really close again. And he said something to me where sometimes relationships ebb and flow. Maybe instead of trying to force everything, you get into more of the flow state, and whatever frequency you are at, whatever vibrational frequency you are at, is what you are attracting into your life. So maybe it looks like the friends that you're not super close with in this moment, you're not vibrating at the same frequency at this point, and maybe it's a time to just step away and step further back. He's like, yeah, you can control it, and maybe you just let it be what it is instead of just being more strategic and intentional about, oh, like I'm going to move this person to this circle. And I do agree to some degree there, where it's like the people in your life are close to you at this moment for a reason. There are no coincidences in that, obviously. But something I was sitting on was, how do you know when it's time to move someone in the concentric circles? And there are a couple ways that I thought about this. Number one is consistency. So do both groups or do both parties show consistency? And that can be if you're showing up, you know, once a week or once a day or once a year. Are both people putting in active, consistent effort into the relationship? Yes, no. Who knows? If it's not, okay, maybe you take a step back and maybe you're not as consistent as well and you're just not vibrating on the same frequency. Okay, cool. And if you're constantly being the one that's reaching out and reaching out and reaching out and no one is reaching back to you, okay, maybe it's time to stop and chill out for a second. And the second one I'd say is notice how your energy feels after you spend time with this person. Are you feeling more drained? Or are you feeling more energized? Are you feeling more self-critical, or are you feeling more inspired? Notice how you feel when you're around these people. If you're feeling uplifted or if you're feeling like you're kind of walking on eggshells, right? So observing how you feel after the interactions and letting that be a guide for where the closeness should be in this relationship. The third thing I'd say, oh, someone's playing Bad Bunny. Yeah, 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 yeah. Ba ba da ba ba da da. Ba ba da ba ba da da. See, that's the thing about knowing Bad Bunny, but like not speaking Spanish, is that I know all the songs, but I just don't know any of the lyrics. So I'm just like, na 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 na, Bad Bunny ba da da da. Like I really should know the words, and I'm sorry if I don't. I love Bad Bunny. I just don't speak any Spanish, so I have no idea what he's saying, but I just know I love the way it sounds. Anyway, number 3 are your values. Do your values align? Do you value the same things? If you're a healthy person and you value your health, you're really probably not going to hang out with someone who does not value that. You know, do you share values with these people? And I'm not saying they have to be the same, and I'm not saying they have to be the same priorities or in the same orders, but do you have aligned values? And if you don't, can you respect the other person's difference in values? And does a difference in values bring you up or knock you down? Because sometimes it's helpful where it's like, okay, I know I have a value of adventure, right? And if I'm talking to a girlfriend and I'm telling her about all of this and telling her about how I'm going to take a lot of uncertainty here, her value of maybe certainty or her value of security and safety, she might be like, hey, listen, like that sounds amazing. And make sure you consider these factors, right? So it's okay if it has a difference in values as long as the difference in values is helping you see perspectives outside of yourself that you normally wouldn't look at. But I would say if the values completely do not align, especially in your romantic partners, like it's just not worth it. And the fourth thing I'd say when you're thinking about where to put people in your orbit, I'd say if you are some of the people around you, I take a look at their overall lives and how they live their lives. Like how you do one thing is truly how you do everything. And if you look at the people around you and you look at their lives, is that a life you would want to step into yourself? And it doesn't need to be completely, right? Maybe someone has like really, really healthy friendships and relationships, but a really unhealthy career life or finance life. Or maybe someone is really a master of their physical health, but they don't have any fun, right? Maybe it's just aspects of their life you want to step into. But when you look at this person's life, is this something that you would want to step into yourself in some way, shape, or form? Is this person inspiring you in some way, shape, or form? Yes or no? Obviously, it's pretty clear the ones that are feeling good and aligned and feeling right and are energizing, move them closer to you. Make them closer to your orbit. If it's feeling draining or feeling really negative or the differences in values doesn't feel aligned anymore, then I'd say it's okay to take a step back and to create some distance for yourself. And that's something I'm just thinking about for myself where it's like, okay, I've been putting in a lot of energy and effort into my relationships, and now I'm kind of being confronted with my relationships, my inner circle relationships, and I'm looking at it and saying, okay, I've been putting in a lot of work, energy, love into these things. Are they mutual? Are they uplifting? Am I inspired by this? Am I feeling drained by these relationships? And if I am, how do I create boundaries around that? How do I make sure I protect my own peace and protect my own happiness while also still honoring the relationship that is there and nurturing and building that relationship that is still there if it's family and needs to be maintained, right? Friendships, it's a little bit different because there's not like that kind of inherent obligation there and there's less of that. So I've found that I love people and I love being around people. And I found that sometimes spending time with myself can be the best thing because I'm working so much on my own frequency, my own vibration that I'm attracting different things when I'm going out there. And I find that everyone I'm attracting in my life is a mirror to me and showing me aspects of who I am and ways of where I am. And you are what you love. So I would definitely take a look at what's around you, what you love, what you're not loving, and how you can align yourself more to what you're loving versus what you're not. I was also chatting with my friend on the phone and we were talking about this as well is this feeling of needing control and the idea of forcing and not flowing. And also guys, so sorry that I'm like bouncing all around with my ideas today. I like did not prepare notes for this. I am just kind of sitting and reflecting and thinking through everything because I'm leaving today and it's a good time to sit and reflect on everything, but something I've been thinking about a lot is this idea of flow over force, like flow, don't force, flow, don't force. And actually, what does that mean? And for me, I found that it's really come up with time and really come up with time management, where I find that historically in the past, I've been so worried about timing, specifically with like my days. Like for example, I may have my mountain of to-do lists and I'm freaking out and rushing and getting through each thing and rushing through each thing in order to get it all done because it has to get all done because I'm always running out of time and I feel like there's never enough time. So I'm always feeling stressed out and always rushing through everything instead of just like stopping, slowing, taking my time and flowing, right? And I see that a lot with my to-do list. And I also see that a lot in social situations where like I'll be in a situation. For example, right? Last night I went to a Dodgers game with my sister. She was here visiting. It was really fun. It was a good time. And we went to a Dodgers game. And I just remember we spent the entire day having like a great day, right? We went and saw the Santa Monica Pier. We went to a brewery. We went to the game. And I was going to meet up with someone after the game. And the entire day, I'm so stressed out and worried about the next thing. Where I'm like, ooh, at what point do we have to call the Uber to go to the brewery to make sure we have enough time at the brewery to make sure that we can leave for the game at the right time? Or when we're at the game and being like, oh, I wonder where we get the Uber to, I wonder where we can find it, or if we should call it in advance to make sure we're home on time, make sure we get everything. And just like so worried about the timing. I was so stressed out about the timing. I was so focused on getting to the next thing and making sure there's enough time for the next thing that I wasn't actually just being present there in the moment, being like, oh, wow, I'm so worried about how we're getting home and what time I'm going to get home, as opposed to just being here, focusing on the Dodgers game and just being here, being present right now. And I was thinking about it, and it's something I was chatting about with my friend today, where it's like, how much of our lives do we spend worrying about doing the next thing as opposed to stopping, pausing, and being present right here, right now, and focusing on what we're doing in the moment? How much of our time and energy is spent worrying about the future or freaking out about the past instead of just being here right now in the flow of the moment and doing the thing that you want to do as opposed to the thing that you should do? And there's a time and place, right? Like there's definitely a time and a place to do the thing that you should do. But how much of it are we worried about doing the next thing instead of just being focused on the current thing? And this is something I'm sitting on currently because it's something that I've seen come up a lot for myself, where I tend to be the person who's worried about the future and who's making plans and dealing with logistics and figuring those things out instead of just stopping, pausing, and letting it unfold exactly the way it's supposed to. And it's something I've definitely had a lot more practice with, especially on my travels, where, you know, people were asking me like, well, what are you going to do this week? And where are you going to go this place? And what are this, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, I don't know. And I've gotten better at it where it's like, okay, well, I know I have a general idea over the summer what I'm going to do, but my plans are fluid and that's cool. And I'm okay with that. It's funny. There's a saying of we make plans and God laughs, right? And I think about it in the terms of timing where I had this whole plan at the beginning of the year where I was going to spend the year. I was going to spend, a couple months here, a couple months there, Europe over the summer. And then afterwards, like bop up and down the East Coast. And at the time, because of circumstances with my job, I wasn't able to go to Europe for the entire summer this year, and I was so upset about it. And now, however many months later, 2, 3, 4 months later, I'm like, oh, that was not meant to happen because of these other things that were meant to happen. Or, oh, like the timing of this thing was not supposed to work out because of some sort of other greater timing. And I've seen that happen again and again and again, where it's like, oh, like this plan didn't turn out exactly the way I wanted to because this other plan was supposed to happen, or the timing of this thing, or this event, or this trip, or this flight, or whatever. It's all supposed to unfold exactly the way it's supposed to, and to have complete trust and faith in God and the universe to have everything unfold in the exact divine timing that it's supposed to be. And I think that's exactly what flow is living in that present moment, in that flow, instead of forcing the outcome that we are trying to do and trying to force our own timing, right? Like we can put in the work and we can put it the energy and effort, but at the end of the day, like the timing is not completely up to us. The timing is a co-creation with the universe, right? So, and that's something I'd say too, of just about perseverance with work, perseverance in general, is like, as long as you're putting in the work and you're showing up and you're showing consistency, and you will get there, the timing will work out in the way it's supposed to. Maybe it's not the timing you wanted, but maybe it's the one you were supposed to have. And I think with disappointing situations in general, I find that's something I've been saying to myself. And I had a friend recently who went on a trip, and the trip was supposed to be the entire family, and half of the family didn't come. And it was super last minute that half of the family didn't come. And I was like, oh man, that sounds really frustrating and disappointing. But sometimes you get the thing that you need and not necessarily the thing that you want. You get the the outcome that you're supposed to have, not necessarily the one you want. And that, I think that goes along with timing. I think that goes along with situations and circumstances. Like, okay, maybe it didn't turn out exactly the way I wanted it to, but when I flow with the universe, like everything magically works into place and I don't have to waste my time or energy worrying about anything else. Like, why am I wasting all of this time and energy and brain space over things that are out of my control? All I can do is put in the work, put in the energy, put in the effort, put in the love, trust the universe, and just know that everything is going to work out exactly the way it's supposed to, right? And that's all I can do at this point. So next time you find yourself worrying about something, take a step back and, be all right and just be like, okay, maybe this isn't the thing I was hoping for. Maybe this is the thing that was supposed to happen. And I I feel like I've learned this lesson again and again and again and again. Like I'll give you another example. I went to Asia for the last leg of my digital nomad year, and my summer lover situation, his nickname is Monsieur Soixante-Six. And stay tuned. This story is bubbling. The story is coming. Okay. So stay tuned there. But Monsieur Soixante-Six came out to Asia to spend a couple weeks with me. And I was really looking forward to it. I was counting down the days. I was so excited to see this man and to just kiss this man and to just, be all over him. Okay. I was so excited to just be on adventures and just have so much fun. Like, we had so much fun together when we were in Paris and we just had the best time. And I was really, really looking forward to spending 20 days with this guy. And we get together and it's not great. We don't have a great time. I don't have a great time. He doesn't have a great time. We decided to end things romantically like 2 weeks in and still traveled together for a week after. Like, it was just not the best. We weren't having the best time, but I learned so many lessons and I was confronted with so much psychological baggage and so much healing in that time because of what I was going through with him that I was like, wow, I was meant to have this experience. This is not what I was hoping for and this is not what I wanted initially, but I was meant to have this experience. I was meant to be confronted with all of these limiting beliefs about everything. And I'll get into the full story one day about everything that happened with him. But for the most part, it reminds me of that, where it's like, if something doesn't turn out the way you wanted, it's because it's supposed to turn out that way and you're supposed to learn a lesson and something else is supposed to be happening as opposed to exactly the thing you wanted and exactly the time you wanted. Like, I have zero doubts in my brain that everything is going to work out and I'm going to achieve or attract every single thing that I desire in this lifetime. I think there's just the inherent fact that I can visualize something and can feel that it's mine and know that it's mine in some reality that is true and exists. So I'm not worried about the timing because I know it's all coming to me in whatever way it's supposed to. It's just a matter of like, okay, how can I release control and how can I go with more the flow of the universe as opposed to forcing it? So these are just things I've been thinking about recently, and just sitting on. And I know this episode's all over the place today, guys. So thank you for bearing with me as I'm just kind of brain dumping, but I've just been sitting on this for a while and thinking about all of these things for a while around like my relationships and life and my career and my health, my physical environment. And it's just something I've been sitting on and thinking about. And it feels really, really bittersweet. And it feels like kind of the beginning. And it feels kind of like the new chapter of my life, which is really exciting. And it feels like, okay, I finished out, my situation at Hogwarts and I'm going to go and I'm going to have my little summer and I'm going to come back to Hogwarts and I'm going to continue to wizard it up and continue to conjure up some magic and to just continue to fall in love with LA and Venice Beach and just have the best time. I think my intentions, not just for the summer, but moving forward, is to just be more present in this moment and to let go of all the wasted time and energy I'm spending worrying about the future when I could just be right here, right now, and going along with the flow of the universe. And in the meantime, I'll spend the summer working my ass off and closing out loops and reorganizing and restructuring myself so when I do get back, I can fully focus and put my head down and just focus on the new priorities and what's happening. And I'm really excited about all of it. It's scary as hell. Like, I'm making huge jumps, huge changes. And I am happy that I gave myself the summer to ease into that and kind of recenter before jumping into this big new thing that I'm looking into. Last year, I really felt like I shed a lot of skin, and now it feels like I'm evolving and kind of stepping up. And it's like year of the snake, year of the horse. Like, last year, I shed so many layers, and this year, I feel like I'm really stepping into some shit for real, for real. So it's been an interesting journey for sure. I think I'm going to work on having some more structured episodes for you guys. This one, I'm just kind of shooting the shit and just reflecting and brain dumping because that's what I do. That's what I do sometimes. But these are all just ideas that are floating around in my mind. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the solo session. And we'll catch you guys next week on the Visualize Meditations podcast. Okay, bye. I hope today's episode left you feeling inspired and aligned. Make sure you're following the show so you never miss out on our weekly meditations or solo chats. I love connecting with you guys. Let's talk on Instagram and TikTok at Visualize Meditations, and we will catch you guys next week on the Visualize Meditations podcast. Bye.